at why solar was a problem historically. When we did this course, the people giving the course on solar, very experienced people, came down from Johannesburg, gave the course. They quoted this regulation about an electrical installation, and I raised the question, and they were all like, oh, this is a big problem. So this basically tells you that the electrical installation is any machinery on a premises that's moving electricity from one point to another. But look at point A at the bottom. It excludes any machinery of the supplier that is related to the supply of electricity to the premises. What is solar? It's electrical supply. So technically, this excludes solar. Okay, so it's already a problem. Then when we do a certificate for solar, at the moment there is no separate test report for solar. This is the only question on the certificate. Is alternate power installed? It's hopelessly inadequate. Okay, so there is a test report. In 2021, there was a new standard that was brought out. It is adopted from the French standard. So they brought the French standard into South Africa, very, very good standard. And then they translated it in Pretoria into English. Afrikaans people, I think, did the translation. So it was an absolute mess. So many grammatical errors. But the information is right. The information is right. So we focus on what the information is and not on. But it was withdrawn within 3 months, and it's still not back. It's 4 years later. We still don't have a regulation book for solar. So everything we're doing is based on this French standard that was released and withdrawn. But it's not a rule. But that's the right way to do it. So when someone's putting solar in, this is what they're supposed to do. And we're just going to briefly run through this because we're most focused on compliance, okay? But let's have a look at the top. It says you get your lead. So let's say I'm a solar company. The lead comes in. The first question they should ask is, do you have an existing certificate? Initial certificate that we were talking about. If they don't have one, the company should be saying, do you want one? And if they say, no, you stop that job, you run away. You can't issue a supplementary certificate without an initial certificate. And so some solar companies are doing the installation and refusing to issue a certificate because the owner doesn't have an initial one. So they say, I can't issue with an initial one. And I understand the complication. They might have 50,000 rands worth of faults on their house. Now, how can they afford the solar and to fix the installation at the same time? So I understand the problem, but legally, they have to refer to an initial certificate. And we don't care how old that certificate is. That certificate can be 25 years old, as long as it's there and there's a number. Even if it's not compliant anymore, at least there's a number to refer to. Okay. So we would run away from a job like that. But let's say they say yes, so we're going down here. They say yes, we go through the process of inspecting and issuing a certificate, and then we back up at that point where it says is there an existing COC? Well, now there is. Okay. So they go out and they give a quote. So many companies are going and giving these 1, 2, 3 quotes like, oh, you want so much kilowatts, and you just go on the website, oh, that's what it's going to cost. You can't do it like that. That's what's happening with these rental companies. They're going in. We just did one in Melkbos about a month and a half ago. Big double-story 3-phase house with a 3-phase main board, 3-phase subboard. They're going to put a single-phase inverter in. Okay? So now they're putting everything onto this one phase, and they're unbalancing the whole installation, which is part of the certificate. Are all the phases balanced? So they're putting everything on one phase, and now the 3-phase distribution subboard, they just link the whole lot together. So now the subboard is now single phase. And the main board is now, most of it's running on single phase. And so they didn't know how to fix it and actually couldn't fix it. So they had to remove the entire system. The whole solar system came out. Buyer was very happy because they didn't really want it, but there was a rental agreement in place. And we can't touch it because it's someone else's equipment. It's a rental. But they charged them 26,000 rand for the removal. They call it a de-installation. And it just happened again now in Fishhook, a property. Also, 20-odd thousand rand de-installation fee for the seller. Okay? And it's so unfair because they created the problem. If it was compliant, then the system could stay and we could issue the certificate. But that's what's happening. So one important thing